All right, Shalom, Shalom. My dwell praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Makar Kudash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders, the great millstone, for teaching his word in truth and sincerity, and for ruling well. And salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching and prophesying in the name of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And I'm my brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, coming to you with another quick lesson. And this lesson is going to be on the military of America, and how they have forborne to fight. And it was inspired by this article that you see right in front of you, everything you need to know about the military draft, as well as this video posted by the brother, I think he might be the head brother of the, Men of Valor Camp, Stay in the Spirit, 144. Subscribe to his page and be edified. And it shows, a young American who doesn't want to fight for America, America is seeing a great decline in a lot of areas, especially fighting men and people that are available to fight at fighting age. Okay. And with that being said, a lot of these, they call them Gen Zs, they don't want to fight for America, in the so-called woke era, where the vast majority of people understand that being in the military is a losing battle for most people. It's not something that everybody is fit for. It's not something that every man or woman, for that matter, wants to be a part of, And a lot of people, they say they'd rather go to prison than to go to war. Basically join up for the military and go to war. Also on top of that, you got the way the ruling elite politicians view military personnel, and not only politicians but their officers. There's a quote from Henry Kissinger, and he said this at The Hague. He said, "Military men are dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns for foreign policy." So here it is. I think he was the Secretary of State of the United States, right, at one point. And here it is, the Secretary of State make these disparaging remarks about military personnel. And who normally fills the ranks of the military? It's either Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, or poor whites, and then you have like other nations of people joining in the military, but it's mainly the poor. It's never the rich, it's never the rich. When it comes to economics, people that are poor normally join the military to try to get a better life for themselves. A lot of these poor whites, they try to get a better life for themselves. They might be patriotic, but the mindset of these politicians and leaders is that you're just stupid animals, used to be destroyed. Again, he says, this is from Henry Kissinger. He says, and then with people understanding that, they no. Smedley Butler even said that war is a racket. You're just used as a pawn in foreign policy so that they can take over these different nations. And these kids, they don't want to die for America. They don't want to die for America's cause. They want to benefit, but they don't want to die for it. They don't want to sacrifice for it. So let me play a little bit of this real quick.
Even saying, hey, we'd rather go to prison for 5 years, get free food, have our clothing taken care of, rather than being shot at in a war zone. Watch this, Gen Zer.
So 5 years of rent-free living, free food, and no responsibilities versus being immediately obliterated by an AK-47 the moment I set foot on that battlefield. Do I look like somebody who the authorities are going to be chasing after, hunting down because they need me? They need me to grab an assault weapon and go try to save people's lives? Are you kidding me? Talk about a liability. Go find those people who are so pro Second Amendment and wear freaking American flag songs and all that. Go find them. They have a concealed carry anyway. They know what they're doing. They've done their classes. You don't want me fighting for this country.
Yeah, so you see that America's fighting force and age war men. They're effeminate, they're effete, they're overweight, they're out of shape, they're done. And this is another reason why when this Third World War breaks out, they're going to lose, man. Their power is not, their might is in their money and in their technology. It's not in their, they put very little interest and value on the physical, the human component of the military, unless you like a super elite troop. But everybody else is just pawns to die. They had a scene on South Park years ago. I always use this reference called Operation Get Behind a Darky, which basically Esau put all the Jakes on the front line to be destroyed while they hide behind them and shit, you know. But you can take those jakes for just the regular everyday citizens. You know, we had movies like uh, the 4th of July, where people came home from Vietnam and was destroyed, knees broken up, their legs gone, arms gone, their minds are gone, and they didn't get no help. You know, there's a precept that says in the book of Ecclesiasticus, um, a man of war, right? Man of war. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, verse 28. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffer poverty, and men of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepares such a one for the sword. So, you know, in that precept, it tells you that the Lord despises those kind of things, that a man of war suffer poverty, right? Let me see how many veterans are homeless, which that's on the rise in America. But these people would rather starve or be on the streets than to join the military. They said the total number of veterans who experienced homelessness was 33,129, a decrease of 11% over the January 2020. The last year of a full PIT count was conducted. The estimated number of veterans experiencing homelessness in America has declined by 55.3%, and that was from 2010, right? But you know, you got to understand something, that you know, it's still a problem. It says why veterans remain at greater risk for homelessness, right? It says, let me look at this up. You know, so people don't want to join the military and end up being casted out, because that's what you are. While veterans remain at greater risk for homelessness, it says the signs. I'm just going to go straight to the point. I'm not going to read all of this. It's what's that number at? It says something about a number. Yeah, it says, for some context, on a given night, there are around 37,000 veterans experiencing homelessness across the United States, right? And the Lord said that one thing that grieved the Lord's heart is a man of war that suffered poverty, man. You know, let me see what that says in the GNT. Sirach 26 and 28. Right. And then I'll get back to the point. Sirach 26 and 28. Right, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 28 in that GNT. It says, at two things my heart is grieved, and because of the third anger comes over me. A warrior and want through poverty, right? So a warrior and want through poverty. You got Americans, they can't even put food on the table, let alone pay their rent. So now you want these people to sign up and go die for you. You know, let me see another question I got. Why don't the rich join the military, right? This is why don't the rich join the military? Because only poor has the passion, hunger, and stamina. Because poor is not educated, does not enjoy facilities, cannot afford any other business or avenue. That's what it says on there. It says, why aren't rich and famous in uniform? We were raised in a privileged culture that misunderstands and underestimates the meaning of military service. Rich man's war, poor man's fight. Exactly. And you know, again, these generations, they like, look, they're not trying to do that, and they're gonna risk their life, man. So they said they'll rather take jail, 5 years in prison, and the dude he said it, he'll get fed every day, he'll have free clothing for 5 years, he won't have to worry about bills, he won't have to worry about any of the things that he had to worry about now, versus going to the middle of the Middle East and being thrown on the line and killed with an AK-47. You know, but guess what? The draft is coming. You know, this is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 30. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might have failed. They become as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. Right. In the NLT, it says her mightiest warriors no longer fight. They stay in their barracks. Yep. And it's going to come to that. It's going to come to that when these troops start realizing that this is a battle that they shouldn't be fighting. They're gonna stay in their barracks. Their courage is gone. They have become like women, so they got scared. The invaders have burned the houses and broken down the city gates because America's gonna be overtaken and overrun, right? And these troops, they ain't gonna want to fight for that. You're gonna have troops coming from other countries with nothing to lose, man, and everything to gain. And these people going to say like, hell no, they ain't gonna fight them people. They're gonna like, no, we good, we ain't doing that. You see? But here's the thing, everything you need to know about the military draft. It says the selective service system, otherwise known as the military draft or conscription, requires almost all male U.S. citizens and immigrants ages 18 through 25 to register with the government. You may have seen the question, have you registered for selective services or application for jobs, driver license, student aid, or more and more. But could you actually be called up in the military? Here's everything you need to know. Military draft 2023. It says, will there be a draft in 2023? Probably not, but it is going to be a draft. While world events such as the war in Ukraine and increasing U.S. presence in Poland continue to evolve, there has been no indication that the military draft will take place. Just what is the draft and why it must rush? I'm not going to read that. What if you don't register the draft? Legally, you could be in a lot of trouble if you don't register. It's a felony, however, and no one has been prosecuted for the crime since 1986, but that doesn't mean you won't have problems. If you fail to register for the draft by the time you turn 26, you are no longer able to do so. Then if you apply for any government benefits at any time after that, you quite possibly will be denied. So they make it compulsory. Like if you want to, like in these other countries, military service is compulsory, right? So you have to do that. You have to sign up. If you don't, you can't get any benefits. And that's the same thing in America. If you don't register for the draft or select the service, guess what? It says you ain't gonna get no benefits. It says you could quite possibly be denied no student aid, government job, etc. Government statistics suggest that more than 1 million men have been denied some government benefits because they weren't registered for the draft. An appeal to get those benefits can be costly and time consuming. 2017 selective service system turned over nearly 200,000 names and addresses of people who had failed to register for the draft to the Department of Justice. So here it is, like these people don't want to fight. And not only that, you got the fact that they're not even fit for fighting. It says why recruiting and confidence in America armed forces is so low right now. This is from August 2023. It says the U.S. military has reached a crisis level of low recruitment. At the same time, the American public perception of the armed forces is increasingly divided. In a recent Gallup poll, only 60% of respondents said they had confidence in the U.S. military, and lowest levels in over 2 decades. Matthew Galt, a writer at Vice, says, the voluntary military has reached crisis level of low recruitment, while at the same time, the American public's perception of the armed forces is increasingly divided. It says, at the same time, some military branches are falling short of their yearly recruiting goals by the thousands. The Army is set to fall 15,000 recruits short this year. So people don't want to join. These they don't want to join. They don't have the capacity to join. They don't have the mindset to join, and that's probably why they do these false flag events, because like after 9/11, it was a ton of people sign up to go join that shit. But I guarantee you that's not going to be the case when the shit hit the fan this time. You see, it says nearly 70% of U.S. troops are overweight or obese, and these are people in the military. Research report says Washington, almost 7 out of every 10 U.S. troops are either overweight or obese, according to a new report, which also warns the growing trend could compromise military readiness and undermine national security. You see, it says the U.S. population not fit to fight. It says in 2017, the Pentagon reported that 71%, that's a lot, it's almost 3/4, 71% of young Americans between 17 and 24 are ineligible to serve in the United States military, While an improvement since 2009, this still means that over 24 million of the 34 million people of eligible age group cannot serve in the armed forces, man. Even more young Americans are unfit to serve. This is in 2022. It says a new study from the Pentagon shows 77% of young Americans would not qualify for the military service without a waiver due to being overweight, using drugs, and having mental and physical health problems. And that's the kicker, because these generation now, they're gone. All they do is drugs. Everybody's depressed. Everybody's psychotic. Everybody's on some type of medication, suffering from some type of PTSD or stress. These people ain't fit to fight. Now you talking about throwing these people onto a battlefield? Nah. That's why even in Second Esdras it says this. This Second Esdras chapter 13. I'll go straight to the point. It says yep. When they see Yahushua, they really gonna be scared. It says, this is Second Esdras 13 and 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, yet durst fight. So the Lord put the spirit on these people. Even though they're afraid, they're gonna be afraid, and it's gonna be the military personnel, the leaders, to the operators of these fighter jets, not just in America, but all around the world. They're gonna be scared, but they're gonna try to fight the Lord, and they're gonna end up losing. So yeah, man, I just wanted to bring this out real quick. I didn't want to make this too long, but yeah, America is finished. Nobody wants to fight for America. Especially this young generation. Gen Z does not want to fight for America. If you're down, say shalom, on to the next.